This is Story Route Zero, a podcast where friends gather to talk of their travels through the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, and even the confusing worlds encountered in games. We may not always know where we're going, but that's often half the fun. Do you have a question, comment, concern, or a story of your own? Hit us up on Twitter at storyroute_0. You can email us at storyroute0@gmail.com, and you can find everything we do at storyroute0.com. Let's have a journey. Jumpin' Jack Flash, it's a gas. Welcome to Story Route Zero, episode number 2. Dropping deuces. My name's Matthew. Alongside me, my peanut butter whiskey drinking friend from New Jersey, Jason Marshall, representing the wastelands of Fallout. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Cool.
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's Monday. And then from beyond the wall, Captain Canada, Matt Phillips. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm just glad you show up because you're one of my favorites. And last but most certainly not least, I recently subbed to him on Twitch. Why, I don't know. His name is Sven. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, Moose, because we nasty. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Doing real well. Doing real well.
Cool. So, how was everybody's weekend?
Nice. It's very nice.
Cool.
I experienced a 5-year-old's birthday.
Your own?
Oh,
Yes, mine.
Just making sure.
What was the theme?
I don't know. Arya doesn't have friends. Just saying.
I did learn. You remember when you're a child, you see the presents lined up and you're like, ooh, the big one. I want to open that first.
Yeah.
Well, when you're a parent, you look at that and you're like, fuck, what is that and where are we going to put that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of the parties now, they don't even open the gifts. The gifts are opened after all the kids leave.
Well,
At least that's been my experience.
no, that's what we did, which was good because the first one she opened, I don't want this one.
Oh.
Does it make
Oh.
noise?
No, she said it. It wasn't
okay.
the specific doll she wanted. The doll
Oh,
had to be
okay.
a mermaid, not a human.
Oh. Teaching kids manners.
Mm-hmm.
But I survived.
That's good. Happy 5th birthday to Arya.
Yeah.
Did you
Pass
play
that along.
Did you play Goose Game with her?
Yeah, a little.
Okay, good. And
Just for an obligatory honk.
honk. Phillips, Moose, how are your weekends?
That was pretty good. I've been really trying to. It's not a New Year's resolution. I've been trying to learn guitar.
Okay.
And
Ooh.
I'm really bad at guitar, and it's very frustrating. It's very hard. So I've been trying Rocksmith,
Okay.
and I've discovered that Rocksmith is still too advanced for me. Remember that, Simpsons, where Homer is trying to look up marketing, I think, so he gets that Marketing for Dummies book, and then the
Yeah.
next scene, the Marketing for Dummies book is in the garbage, and he's looking up marketing in the dictionary. Well, that's where I'm at with playing guitar. So Rocksmith is a little bit beyond where my current skills are. So I'm
Okay.
using YouTube.
So you know what a guitar is, essentially.
I can roughly hold the pick, and I can play one string notes, but it's really hard and it's really frustrating. But I watched a TED Talk actually, talking about practice, and it was just talking about
was this a TED Talk or was this that Allen Iverson clip from YouTube talking about practice?
No, it was a TED Talk one.
Practice.
Instead of quantity of practice, focus on the quality of practice. So it was talking about doing something for 20 minutes instead of spending hours on it, because on 20 minutes you may be a little more focused. So that's what I've been doing. I spent a lot of time doing that on the weekend, just in short spurts. But I've made some progress. So hopefully I'll be able to perform a solo by New Year's Eve.
Cool.
We'll find out. But that's what I've been
I
doing.
mean, just learn Smoke on the Water. That's what everyone does.
Nirvana songs are your best friend when you're first starting out.
Yeah, but they don't really do solos.
No. But in terms of playing a song, but they're very easy to learn. They're not. They're a little more difficult to play.
Yeah,
Well, but you can
Sure.
learn them as a beginner.
I could play Metallica 1 in Guitar Hero on easy.
Yes. Have you ever seen what like Metallica Master Puppets, you ever seen what someone's hand looks like when they're playing that song? Like it looks like a face hugger with your fingers.
yeah.
It's unbelievable. And he sings while he plays that. It's absurd. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Metal's cool.
It is very cool. It's my favorite.
Yeah. But I also know that's not the only thing you did this weekend.
What I do this weekend?
You spent a night flipping records, dude.
Oh, yes. Well.
Oh, talk to us about that.
Oh, it was awesome.
I know. Tell us about it.
Oh, okay.
Sure. What'd you listen to?
Scorpions. So.
Okay, next.
I did Scorpions. No. You don't even like rock and roll. So I did Scorpions.
Fucker.
You're talking about the guy who hates Back in Black. So.
I don't hate Back in Black.
I went to Scorpions.
I think it's a bit overrated, though.
It's not my favorite AC/DC album, but it is excellent.
No,
And
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap is everyone's favorite AC/DC. That's the correct answer.
No. No, the correct answer is Highway to Hell. But
Or
Moose's
High
eyes are what's
Voltage.
going to the back of his head. And then I went down a real Iron Maiden rabbit hole.
There you go.
I have the box set back there, so I went through a lot of Iron Maiden, and
Cool.
that's pretty much what I did for a couple hours. It was awesome.
Awesome.
It only interests people who appreciate music in the vinyl form, but for those of us that do, it's pretty awesome.
No idea what you're talking about.
No, I saw you added a few to your collection this
I did.
weekend. So.
I did.
In an effort to save money, I have been doing just one a month. I'm allowing myself 14 for the year, one a month, because I've got a lot of records.
Well, the ironic thing is nothing from this year. Like those 3 that came pre-orders from like June of last year.
There are albums this year I really want to get. Like there's a new King Diamond, there's a new Megadeth. So I'll get those this year, but I'm sure there's 1,000 others too. But
Sure.
I've been trying to fill holes in my backlog, like fill the collections that I'm missing a few of. Like I'm missing Hello 8s from Slayer. Otherwise, I have the full collection.
Oh yeah.
And that's the only one I need.
Like I'll admit that Rain and Blood is probably Slayer's best. I think Hello 8s might be my favorite. It's really good.
I can't pick a favorite.
True.
I honestly can't pick.
Yeah, they're your favorite.
I can make an argument for everything up to like South of Heaven being like your favorite on a certain day.
Sure.
So
Sure.
but,
Moose.
yeah, that was my weekend.
How was your weekend, sir? What'd you do?
It was good. Just hung out around the house. Obviously, did some chores and whatnot. And then the first rule of Dark Souls Fight Club is you don't talk about Dark Souls Fight Club. So
let's not talk about Dark Souls Fight Club. So Dark Souls Fight Club.
That was a blast, man.
Cool.
Friday. I don't even remember how it happened, but just got on a roll with running around with people. I fired up the PS4. Was like, I got a level 80 something character. Let's get it to 90. Let's do some PvP. And then it was just like 4 hours of PvP at Pontiff and just having a blast, inviting streamer friends and PSN friends and meeting new people and having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good time. And then did it Sunday as well, yesterday. Did it all day yesterday afternoon. It was awesome into the evening. It was good.
I'm glad you were having that experience with Dark Souls Fight Club because I tried to get involved with that back when Dark Souls 1 came out. And because I was not online as much as I am now. in terms of like I didn't have Facebook at the time.
Mhm.
Twitch was not a thing for me. Like I didn't have really many online communities that I'd known about. So when I was trying to get involved with things like that, most of the time I was met with a stiff arm and shown the door. But I'm glad you're having that experience. That's awesome, because I've always been fascinated with the people that do that. Like I've watched a ton of YouTube on people that like, you know, they craft soul level 90 builds. I think there's one who did a soul level 64 build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the guys I was playing with today, because I'm missing a bunch of the gestures,
Mhm.
and so I'm trying to go through and get like like the best level 90 that I can. So I have the one level 90 that has stuff, so I can just do whatever with, and then this new one, I'm just like trying to get all the gestures and whatnot. And so we were playing, and we were PvPing in the Cursed Woods. And so like we would clear the area out and then use the dry finger so that people can invade. And we were just having a blast doing that. But he's got a build where it auto regens health. So it's like a twink killer. So like he can basically take it in, and if people roll away from him, he's like, that's fine, I'm just gonna regen health while you have to engage
while you
me,
do
or
your
I will
Solaire
never
thing
die.
around the battlefield.
Yeah, it's like you have to engage me or I will never die. And so
for anybody that might not know it, can you explain a twink?
So a twink is basically like a low level character that a friend who has a high level character could be either a character of your own on another account or somebody else who gives that low level character gear that they normally wouldn't get otherwise, like through natural play of the game. So like you could have a level 9, like usually the first definition of twink that I engaged in was World of Warcraft, level 19
Gulch,
twinks.
baby.
Yep, level 19 twinks. I had a rogue, and so like you could go into, the problem is with World of Warcraft, if you're farming the dungeon to get the really good weapons and gear, you're gonna level past 20, you know, because you're gonna automatically go past that. So you want to
cap it now.
Yeah, that's right. You can cap it now, which is nice. But in the early days, you couldn't. So like you would have that character sitting over there, and you either go with your character, and you would try and farm it and get the bind on equip BOE stuff, so you could give it to your twink, or you would try and buy it off the auction house. And of course, because it's always like from level, what was it, like level 10 or 15 to 19?
10 to 9, like 11 to 19. And
11 to 19, yes. And then it was like, it would go in those
it goes
brackets.
to the 9. It goes to the 9.
Yeah.
Because people do it today, like in WoW Classic.
Yeah, so people do it at like 19. They have a 29 twink, 39, 49, like, because they're the max level for the bracket that you can be in, and then they can do like the most amount of damage.
Yeah, you'll just dominate that battleground.
Yeah. And so he had so this was his twink character, and then he also dropped me like everything I could possibly need for my character, like rings, weapons, except for level 10 weapons, because you need a level 10 weapon to pick up a level 10 weapon. So I'm still working through getting a level 10 weapon to be able to pick one of those up. And it was a blast. It was awesome watching him like do damage. And then like, so like usually like with the fight clubs.
Wait. So you need a level 10 weapon to pick up a level 10 weapon in Dark Souls?
Yeah, in Dark Souls 3, you can pick up any level 10 weapon as long as you have a level 10 weapon. You can pick up any level weapon as long as you have that level. So like if you have a level 5 weapon, you can someone can drop you every single level 5 weapon in the game. And then so you can also skirt it.
So basically I can't drop you a fully upgraded claymore.
No, not unless I had another level 10 weapon.
I never knew that.
Or so there's another way people do it. They get Hazel's pick from Fahrenkeep or the Cursed Woods. She's an invader you have to encounter. You can get her pick.
Yep.
Or you can get the Irithyll Straight Sword, and you can infuse those with Twinkling Titanite shards, which takes it to a +5. but they're double levels, so it's technically a +10 weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you can get that a lot sooner than you can get a +10 in the game, and so you could just they could just drop, because you need the later on upgrading equipment. You need the Titanite stuff.
Right.
It doesn't drop as easily. Yeah, it doesn't drop as easily as the twinkling Titanite shards, and so you could just go in there and get it all, and then get your level 5 weapon, and they can drop every single weapon you could possibly think of in the game, and then you can just do cosplay. So that's my goal, is to like do some cosplaying as like Solaire, cosplay as Gale, like the Soul of Cinder, like just have a good time running around, like wrecking shop.
I did a full playthrough as Solaire and as Siegmeyer, not Siegward, Siegmeyer.
Right.
Siegmeyer is better than Siegward. I don't care what anyone says.
And so like we were doing it. So like if you go to Pontiff, you just basically, I put a password on, allowed the chat to have access to it, and for Twitch for the stream, and then I would just summon everybody in, and then they would just like rotate who was fighting, and then like every couple rounds, everybody would fight until the last person standing, and then I would fight them, and then I would summon again. Okay. And then like it's been really cool lately. Like usually invaders are assholes.
Yeah.
But like generally the invaders that we get, just they come running, and they see that a fight club's going on, and so they just sit down by the edge and just like chill until like someone dies, and then they hop down because they're invading, they want to get a kill and they want to get out of there. So
right.
So like to set the stage, like you come out of killing Pontiff, and then there's like a circular part, and you drop down into another like semicircle part, and then it like that's where the fight is. So everybody who's watching just stands up there. There's another area with a bunch of giants that you can fight if you want to clear out the giants, but I can't be bothered to clear out the giants.
Those giants suck, man. Giants suck.
So I just do it right outside Pontiff's door, and then we just summon people and have a blast.
Yeah, that's that's one of the. I mean, that's another reason why Dark Souls 3 does Dark Souls sort of the best, because it has that perfectly set up arena. The last one I remember was right outside Gwyn's final boss fight. There's right at the top of that area. There's just this square. It almost looks like a wrestling ring. My buddy, well, him, Ahmed, and I, we would do our own little. Every so often, we just need to fight. Mm-hmm. So I would basically say, okay, I'll lose because I rarely beat him. Yeah. There was one day where he and I were just like, we were just decided we were just gonna fight for a while, and invader after invader just seemed to run up to us and see us fighting, and he would stop and like look at them and do the little the stop emote, and they would basically stay right there, and do what you said, sit down, wait and wait to fight. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, they just got a free kill because Ahmed is really good at Dark Souls, and he would just beat the piss out of me.
Yeah, I mean, we did have some people that were assholes and just come running in and just start hitting people. And so then basically, like, what they don't know is, like, we're all in, like, a party chat or in, like, Twitch chat communicating. It's like, get them. And so, like, everybody just turns and goes after that guy. So it's like all of the invaders, basically, they can kill me and they can do damage to each other. But, like, he doesn't know that they're all against him, and they'll just go run after it and, like, chase him down. And the cool thing about if you're an invader, the cool thing is, like, the NPCs in the game, like the enemies, they don't touch you unless the host uses the seed or whatever. Yeah, and then it turns the world against the invaders. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good time. I got some weapons I want to use. There's pikes. I've got my ass handed to me multiple times by a dude using a pike.
Pikes are dicks.
I wanna use that because that weapon seems like it would be a good time. So, anyways, I beat him a couple times though. Like I mean, he beat me more than I beat him. So it was like maybe like 6-3 or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah.
Hopefully you learned lessons.
I did. Pikes up.
That game is about that.
And
what?
And
I've heard that game is all about that.
Learning lessons. Yeah. I would hope that for Matt it would be like Be like a patience thing for him, you know, help him try and learn his patience. But I don't think he
Who,
ever
me?
will. No, other man, Captain Canada. I don't think it would. Like I get frustrated. I was frustrated with the game today while I was trying to do something. I'm just like, you're being an idiot. What are you doing? Like, just
I
go
have
do
it.
something else. And so I took a break and walked away and came back and was fine. So
Mhm.
I mean,
you need
ever
to
since
play
that
it.
guy beat the game on a toaster, I feel like I should be able to at least beat this game with a full controller. I'm
Yeah.
not that bad at games. Like I'm okay at them. It's just Dark Souls requires a lot of patience. And if I only have like a half an hour to play, sometimes it's not the best kind of game to play.
No, that's
I
not
don't know.
a
You should not be
no.
playing that game for a half hour unless you're
No.
grinding out levels or something.
Yeah, unless you're doing something menial, like
Yeah. Well, it's like anything. It would require practice,
Yeah.
just like my guitar, to get capable at.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, okay. I guess we can just go into. What, anybody got any stories?
Well, there's a couple from this week.
Moose
And
just
some
broke the
from
first
today.
2 rules of Fight Club, so
He broke
Doesn't
the
matter because
No,
anyone's
I
allowed
have
to
to,
join.
I
a
have
fight
to go
club.
back and edit all that shit out. So when it goes live, we didn't talk about.
So I know you were playing. You said you were playing much of the same this week, Phillips.
Yeah, I finished. So last week I was working on Isle of Sigil or Sigel. I
Uh-huh.
don't remember exactly. So I finished that.
Walk us through your assassination.
Well, I will because
Set the mood for us, buddy.
I'm trying to get all the achievements in Hitman 2, but I don't like to look them up first. A lot of games I do, but Hitman rewards your creativity so much that I like to be surprised by the
Right.
achievements in that game, so I don't look them up. So I got one of the sisters. I'll start it again for anyone only
Sure.
listening to this one. On that map, there's 2 sisters you need to kill because
Okay.
they have a kill switch that will, if triggered, kill the NPC that you need to extract.
Yes.
So you need to take care of both of the sisters first and then extract
So-
your...
How did you get the sister?
So the first sister I burned to death in
Awesome.
the Phoenix effigy because she crawls in and there's a trap door in the back and
Mhm.
you're supposed to set it on fire and she flies out the back. Well, I've sabotaged the door so she can't get out. And so she gets burned to death in there. One sister down. The other one, there is a treasure hunter on the island who has donated a necklace, like a long lost necklace, and it's in the middle of the this big room. So he is
it's that Nathan
boyfriend.
Drake looking asshole.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend of the other sister. And so I stole the necklace. I knocked out the treasure hunter and took his clothes.
Yep.
And then I gave her back the necklace as an apology. She said,
Mhm.
"You put it on me." I said, "No problem." And then she turns around, you put it on her, and you strangle her to death with the necklace.
First lesson of being an international
Yeah.
Illuminati high-ranking member: don't turn around for
just-
nobody.
I love all the awesome opportunities that the game gives you. They're so telegraphed, and it's so awesome. Can you please put this necklace on me? No problem.
Please, Mr. Agent 47.
It's just,
Help me with my necklace.
The humor in the game is awesome. So yeah, I got her with that, and then I extracted the NPC I needed, and it ended up that the sequence of events I did was an achievement. So I was pretty happy about that. So
Nice.
I got an achievement for that. And,
Now, are you talking about, when you say all the achievements, are you talking Steam achievements or or the in-game list
the
of
Steam achievements? But so some of the achievements require you to do everything per map.
Yeah. Right. And because I know, like, I on Hitman 2, I've done everything except Himmelstein.
Are they different? Like PSN and
No,
Steam achievements? No,
they're
okay.
the same.
Super same.
They're
All right,
the
yeah,
exact
so,
same.
All right, so that's what I'm trying to.
So if you don't want to look it up, but you want to know what it is, just let me know. I'll help you out.
I want to do a few more run throughs of the maps
Mhm.
first, and then I'll start look. If there's ones that I'm missing, I'll start looking them up. I mean, there are like 150 of them, so
Yeah,
I will have to look some up. I really
mean,
like the sniper maps. The sniper maps are awesome.
I mean, because it's pretty easy for all of them. Like one of them is Silent Assassin on every single one of them, and then there's like finish every single one of them. I want to say I don't think difficulty is a factor.
I'm not sure.
But I don't know.
Like that game is really awesome, and
It really is.
I'm really excited to see where they go. I liked how much Diana was in the game. I really liked just. I mean, for people who have like a long time with that series, Diana is just that regular voice you're used to hearing, and so seeing her.
Tell me 47.
Yeah, it was just awesome. So I absolutely love this game. I finished it multiple times, and I still love it every single time. So yeah, I was just playing a bit of that. I had I didn't play the game, but I almost did. This is how my mind works. We had a bit of a scare with one of our nuclear power plants here on the weekend. We got a false alert. So first we got an alert that to everyone in the province, there's a problem with the power plant. We're working on it. Right. And they sent out another text later, false alarm, there's no problem. So
heard that before, Chernobyl.
That's exactly where I'm going. I had seen, have you heard of a game called Spin Tires?
No.
Where you navigate trucks through like the Russian back roads, muddy back roads.
Oh man.
So their new DLC takes place
Eastern
in Chernobyl.
Bloc Truck Simulator? What?
Yes. Their new DLC takes place in Chernobyl. And so I installed it because I was like, if shit went down, I should probably know how to navigate my way out of this. So I did install it. I didn't play it, but that's just how my brain works.
Sure. And if you ever find yourself lost on an Air Force base, just watch the movie Iron Eagle. You'll learn how to
I didn't actually get to that. I didn't actually get to that this weekend, but I do have to get to it. Lou Gossett Jr., man.
Yeah. That guy, so bad he's in that movie. That movie's so weird.
Oh, it's horrible. It's like one of the first real American propaganda movies I watched when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And it told that like Rambo 4 that you don't really realize at the time kind of what they are. Rambo 3 and Rocky 4.
Yeah, Rambo 3 and Rocky 4. I remember watching those movies when I was a kid, and I went and saw the sequel, Iron Eagle 2, Aces High, in the theater. And I think it was the first time I had ever asked myself, why was this made?
Well, yeah, because not to spoil anything, but there's a real upsetting part at the beginning. Well, if you really like Iron Eagle 1.
Right. But I just, like, Aces High is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
And it's also one of the best Iron Maiden songs ever made.
True. Anything else you're playing? Besides flirting with the nuclear apocalypse?
Well, I started the latest Batman Telltale, and that was triggered. I've never played it. That was because I saw Warner Brothers are teasing Batman, and I love those games. I'm not big on Batman. Oh, you mean the most movies.
Telegraphed bullshit ever?
Yeah. I'm not like a big Batman movie fan or the comics, but I love the games, especially Asylum.
Sure. Yeah, Asylum's great.
Asylum is one of my favorite games of the last generation. I think it's a fantastic game. So I've been doing the Telltale one, and it's pretty cool. But I'm not really far enough into. I mean, Telltale games aren't really worth discussion, but
they can be.
Yeah, I mean,
if you
like
want to do a deep dive analysis, sure, we can do that. But
I like it. It's fun. But that's the extent of my gaming ventures this week.
That's as long as it's fun. Speaking of nuclear wastelands, Marshall, I hear you've been playing Fallout again.
I am. It was a double XP weekend. I am Fallout 76.
Okay, just making sure.
I am so close to the platinum.
Okay. Well, see now I've never played this game, so I automatically hate it.
Yeah, of course. No,
that's how this works. That's just how this works.
And the internet can't tell lies.
Yeah, Yeah,
I heard that
sure.
on the internet too.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's like if people we're talking about No Man's Sky at launch, everybody who didn't play it hated it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So Fallout 76. What's happening? What's happening in the Wastelands?
Well, so the trophies I have left are level 50, level 100, and I have to revive 25 people. My level 50 trophy actually bugged out when I was going through the first time.
Mhm.
I killed a super mutant, same super mutants back from the other Fallout games.
Sure.
The game locked, but I heard the level up sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But the stability of the server crashed. I came back on level 50, no trophy.
Oh, God.
I just continued. I was hoping maybe it would fix itself on an update, blah, blah, blah. So my main character is 89 or 90,
Mm-hmm.
but there's been a couple double XP weekends. So with the last one and this one, I got another character to 45.
All right.
So I'm going to hit 50 and then finish off the 100, and I think I have to revive like 6 more people.
Cool.
But, I mean, I put like 120 hours in when it first launched.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I was lucky. I never really. I mean, sure, I experienced the typical Bethesda. Like, I teleported back to my house and fell through the floor, and
Sure.
I died. It's like,
I
oh,
mean,
all right.
it's the Wasteland. You can't. There's not really a construction code in the Wasteland. That just happens.
I respawned and I was in the house then. It's like, all right, well, win-win.
Yeah.
Like, my loot was right there. I didn't have to run far.
Yeah.
They have added a couple months back a
Battle
Royale.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's relatively stable. It's similar to Fortnite, storms moving in. But if you played a Fallout game, radiation is part of the game. It doesn't instantly kill you.
Right.
And in Fallout, it can actually mutate you, like your ability to jump like a kangaroo, or you run super slow, but you can't take damage if you stand still. So it adds that, like, you can risk staying in the storm a little bit as long as you could survive it to, like, mutate, maybe power up.
Okay.
There's none of the building. Like in the game, you don't need materials, but you'll find, like, a build kit, like build a turret, and it's instant. It's not like you need gears and springs and steel.
Mhm.
Like,
you don't need to flip through a menu.
Right. There's no hunger and thirst in this mode, so you don't have to worry about eating. Oh, you can eat to restore health, but you don't have to worry about it going down. And chemicals, drugs have no side effects.
Boo.
In nuclear winter. What's cool though is your progress actually, there's a percentage carries to adventure mode. So I was playing a few rounds because it actually can level you in the main game.
Okay.
Kind of as a break, like going through. I find it fun. I mean,
tired of wandering a barren wasteland, kill 100 people just
but the
to
thing is,
gain
like,
some levels.
It'd be fun.
I think like people, oh, it's empty. Like, yes, there's no NPCs in the sense, like, but who wanted Preston Garvey back from Fallout 4? That fucker was so annoying. But
well, how would you know other settlement needed saving without him?
It's true.
He served a purpose.
They are coming. I'm curious. I mean, I hope to have the platinum before this Wastelanders update that adds NPCs. I'll revisit it then, but I'm like so close. I think after the 100+ hours, if I was like 20 trophies away, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Like, but like, I mean,
at this point, if you're in for more than a penny, so if you're not in for a pound, you're like.
But I mean, I have fun with it. I mean, sure, there was one event, and it's the servers are dead, nobody's on there. If you trigger the nuke, the Queen Scorch Beast attacks, and it's like a server event. There was at least 20 people out of the 24 or 32 max at this event trying to take down the Scorch Beast. Like, It was like the coolest thing. Like, you get all these people trying to take this thing down, like
it's
dying,
like an instant
reviving
MMO
people.
raid.
Like, it was a cool. It's almost like an MMO with like a random raid takes place. Like, it's one of the coolest things. Like, so I mean, I'm part of the Fallout Discord. I've been on the Reddit. Like, it's active. Like, yeah, sure, there's plenty of wrong with the game, like the hacking, all the bugs, but like, you can have fun with it.
What's
And
with the griefing that people have spoken about?
it's not so in game. If you don't engage in PvP, it's very hard to kill someone. Like, you take
Okay.
90% reduced damage. Like,
Okay.
if you don't attack back, it'll take. It doesn't matter your level. It'll take a long time to actually kill someone.
Okay.
Like, me and Jeff, actually, there's a trophy for killing 25 people. We helped each other. Basically, one would attack, the other would attack back, and then you can kill. But if you
Okay.
don't do that, you're sitting there. You could drop nukes. It doesn't matter. You're doing 90% less damage.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is
So
some,
basically the people that are getting killed are it's their own fault for fighting
yeah,
back.
or people are clever. Like, you'll get like 2 high levels trying to grief. Like, one will attack, the other will like purposely try to like jump in front to like get an attack to trigger like the PvP flag, like, or something like, or like you'll be shooting like wildlife and they'll like try to jump in front of you after they shoot you.
Oh.
It's not that bad, and honestly, when you die, you can respawn across the map. They're not going to know where you are.
Griefing is a time-honored MMO tradition.
Right.
Sure.
It's
But I
pretty
think,
annoying.
what was the motivation for it in Fallout 76? Were people just pissed? I mean, were they just pissed that like new people were playing it, or there was an influx of
So
new
the
players?
most recent one was with the Fallout First. It's that subscription thing. So the Fallout First people who subscribed were griefing people who didn't. It was like, what? You didn't pay extra money to support this game? We're going to grief you. It seemed weird.
Okay, so now
That's weird in the
that
sense
is
that Bethesda said they weren't going to ever do like a follow first kind of thing. So I thought it would have been the other way around, where like non-subscribers would grief the subscribers.
I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
at first, the Fallout First, I was like, all right, paying for private servers. Private servers aren't cheap. Like, they're not free. But some stuff carried over to the regular game, not just the private worlds. That's where they lost me. Like, if you want to contain it in your private world, fine. But when you have access to that shit in everyone else's game, then it's like, I mean, it was more like you had unlimited storage, which, I mean, it's not the worst thing. They've upgraded enough, but I don't know.
See, that would be something that ticks me off more than anything else. A Bethesda game making you pay for unlimited storage. Like, that would be because the encumbrance system they use is usually pretty bad.
That would be like saying $5 DLC, no encumbrance.
Yeah.
They did change it up from the beginning. The way it works now is you don't move slower just because you're over encumbered, but you do lose your AP, which is like your energy. So the ability to sprint, you can only sprint like it's a short period,
Right.
And then it takes longer to. But like, I remember Skyrim, Moose knows, if you're over encumbered, you're screwed. You're crawling. You might as well just crawl on the ground.
Don't you get to the point where you can't move at all?
I think
Pretty much,
in like Oblivion and Morrowind and even Fallout 3 in New Vegas, if you had one tiny bit of over encumbrance, just stop. It's like, nope, you're stuck.
Nah, I'm good.
It's just like,
I mean, the double XP ended this afternoon.
okay.
Still gonna chip away at it. I'm so close. Like, I'm like there.
I hope you get there, man.
They have. Thank you. They have updated the game system, so it's a little different. Like, public events are more easily identified. You could tell the difficulty. It's easier to gain money. It's just, I still have fun with it, but I'm obviously in the wrong. How dare I?
Well, yeah, I mean, no, people just can't like things. Like,
Right.
I mean, I mean, at least you're not a Star Wars fan, right?
Nope.
I mean, because if you like that, shame on you. Like, I can't believe that.
We are pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
Like, I love Star Wars, but like
I
the
do as well.
amount of hatred towards The Last Jedi, like the fact that I mean I haven't seen the new movie. I still really want to. It'll be the last one I probably see in the theaters. But like the, I remember there was a while back, probably maybe within 3 or 4 months of The Last Jedi coming out. Reba and I we went out, we were hanging out with a bunch of my friends from like prior marriage. Like my ex-wife was there, her new boyfriend was there, and we were talking, and I said I like The Last Jedi. Ex-wife's boyfriend just basically, he all of a sudden ears perk up, shoulders come forward. He's like, I'm going to take this guy down. And he's like, how can you like that? I'm like, well, it's fake. It was entertaining, and I had a good time watching it. He's like,
I love The Last Jedi.
and he's like, but this, but that, but this, but that. Yeah, fake. Made up. Movie. I mean, none of this is real. Like, and like, even if you wanted to get into the deeper like philosophical ideas of it, like none of it was that bad. I mean, I will say this in his defense, at least he wasn't one of those people that's sitting there saying that like people like Rose can't be in Star Wars, or angry about John Boyega being a main character, angry about Poe being being played by a Latin actor. It's just like because those people can fuck right the hell off, because Star Wars is about everybody. It always has been. It always will be. And the shit that happened with these actors and actresses having to basically leave social media because a bunch of assholes,
Yeah.
aren't happy with them existing. Hello, Bagel.
Well, don't you remember when people were losing their minds over the Metachlorian counter from Phantom Menace?
Oh yeah.
And for me, I love Star Wars. I don't care. It's just fun. I really don't. So when people start trashing it, it's like, I don't care. I really don't. It's just fantasy. It's a movie about space wizards with light swords. I don't care. I really don't care. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
And if I don't like it, okay. Like, I don't love the prequels, but I don't hate them, and I don't hop on the internet to
Well, there's only one of those. There's only one of the
despise
prequel
them.
films that I absolutely hate, and that's Attack of the Clones. People try and defend
That's
that
my
one
least
as,
favorite. That's my least
people
favorite.
try and defend that one as better than the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace is a
No.
better movie than people remember it.
I think it is too. But again, if I don't like it, I don't care.
Right.
It just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Right.
I
There's a
like Last
productive
Jedi
way.
too.
There's a productive way to not like it.
Yes.
I mean, like, to tie it into Fallout 76, I'm a diehard Fallout fan. I've never played 76. I don't hate it. It's just, it exists. People like Jason.
Well, no, see, that's where you're wrong, Phillips. That's where you're wrong. You haven't played it, so you have to hate it. Remember?
People
We explained this.
really like it, and I'm happy that they enjoy it. It's I've never understood that mentality. It's not the Fallout game I'm looking for, so I haven't played it. But
what could a $60 game do to you? So you played it, you hated it, it was miserable. What did it do?
The worst it did was make you regret spending your $60.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't have an axe to grind against.
Which
a
at
video
that
game.
point, you could say buyer beware to a degree.
But I hear some people, I played like hundreds of hours. Like, you didn't play hundreds of hours. You hate it way too much to play hundreds of hours is a lot of game time.
Yeah.
Like,
There's only one game I've hated and I've played long enough to platinum. That was Assassin's Creed 2. I did not like that game at all. And the person that I borrowed it from is like, you're wrong. Spend some time with it. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to get every single trophy. I'm going to do everything in this game. And if it doesn't, I'm not saying it has to redeem itself, but like if I don't find any sort of enjoyment out of this, like at some point, my opinion is okay. I actually wrote like a book report for this motherfucker and said, here's why this game sucks. And I cited examples. I pointed to specific spots, and I was like, this is why I don't like it. Now, does that mean Assassin's Creed 2 is a bad game? I don't think so. It just means I didn't like it.
I've decided I'm going to revisit a game I've always said I don't like, and that's Halo. I've always said no, I just don't like it. I've played a lot of them. It
Sure.
just never grabbed me. But I'd like to revisit it just because when you see something like that or Star Wars, Assassin's Creed, something that's so beloved by its fans,
Mhm.
I want to be there.
Mhm.
And so I want to really enjoy everything I play. I mean,
Sure.
I've never understood why you wouldn't. So now that Master Chief Collection's on Steam, I'm going to give it another shot because I really would love to fall in love with it. And then there's a new Halo this fall. I would love to be excited for that new release. So I
Just
am going to, was that?
before you get into the Master Chief Collection, make sure it works because I I still hear spotty reports that it's not working.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think the whole thing is out yet. They did Reach. I think Halo Reach is the one that just came out
Right.
on Steam, so it would be that one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd like to try it.
Mhm.
Our good friend Mr. Buttervoice himself installed it, so I'm gonna have somebody to co-op with.
Mm. Dumb. Miss
I mean,
it.
if you bought a game and it didn't work, like you couldn't load it, that's a reason to be
Yeah.
extra angry.
Yes,
But like,
it's a reason to be frustrated. Yes,
I
but
remember when Giant Bomb was doing their Game of the Year discussions that year. They were doing their like hottest mess or whatever, and everyone's going through these explanations. And Drew Scalen's like, Master Chief Collection didn't work, still
Right.
doesn't work.
that's a legitimate because it still has issues, and that's a legitimate issue.
yeah, but the worst is like you hear people like, "Oh, Fallout 76 is the worst." Why? Well, this review. Did you play it?
The
Like,
one that
me and Jeff were talking about Days Gone and how some of the bigger name podcasts, they had so many graphical issues. I haven't had anything wrong with the game. So sometimes shit happens. You can't just say, "Oh, this game's the worst."
Mhm.
the one for 76 that stuck out to me, I think they've patched it, was the movement speed in the game was tied to the frame rate. So people playing on PC who were playing at like a high frame rate, they were moving twice as fast as someone running at a much lower frame rate. They've since patched that, but that was something that I saw. I was like, that's a legitimate issue that I feel someone could raise because, I mean, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
You
it
can
is.
move way faster than someone else just because you're running at a higher frame rate. They have patched it, but that was
120
one that
frames a second. You see the
Yeah.
flash running across the wasteland.
stupid console peasant you're running by.
That brings me into what else I've been playing.
Okay.
So we all know I love Borderlands.
No.
Usually,
Really?
I'm
Get right
Usually-
out of town.
Get the fuck out.
get out. Usually, I platinum them as quick as possible, and whenever there's exploits,
Wait, you platinum games? I'll stop.
stop recording. Let me
You,
finish.
Matt.
I like to get to the end as quick as possible. That's what she's.
You're doing
But
it to
whenever
yourself now.
Borderlands always has a ton of exploits that, for whatever reason, they patch them as a single-player game, whatever. But I always like when I hear about them because I was like, I'm getting home, I want to try this. The newest one, there's a shield called the Rough Rider, which kills your shield completely, but you get a bonus. I think, Moose, you've seen this. It's from Borderlands 2. So apparently there's a glitch where you can, if you equip and unequip it repeatedly, you get the stat bonus on it, and it just keeps multiplying. So the one I have increased your speed by 10%, but there's no end to the stack. So for like 5 minutes, I just kept equipping and unequipping, where I'm covering like whole maps, like the game's catching up to me. Like it's still like I'm zoning out, and the game's still like following.
So you start walking, and it's like Star Wars, which is the hyperspace.
There was one, I have to check which character has it. If you have the melee buff, someone did a video. His normal melee hit was 1900. He did this buff for like 2-3 minutes. First hit, no procs, 25,000.
Jeez.
And apparently, if you don't exit the game, you can fast travel, you can die, reload, like it won't clear the buff. So people are running into Mayhem 4, taking out the raid boss and like getting guaranteed all the legendaries. It was quite interesting. I tried it for about 45 minutes today.
Now, does Gearbox do anything to people who use the exploits?
No, not like
No?
that, because that's something. It's not because you don't have to. I think it's because you don't have to do anything. Like all you do is equip and unequip the shit. You could have done it accidentally.
And they haven't put out a hotfix for this?
So with PlayStation, at least, if you put it in rest mode, you'll
Yeah.
never get the update.
But there is one out?
What?
There is one out?
I don't know if it's out yet, but as long as
Okay.
if you don't exit the game, it won't update it. So
okay.
plus you can disconnect from the internet, obviously, and not
Yeah.
worry about it. They'll probably but I feel like they're entertained by some of these. Like there was one at the beginning, people were like one-shotting bosses with a certain buff.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, I mean, this is a predominantly single-player game, and I just wish some people would take the approach that From Software took to Demon Souls and the duplication exploit. They just said, you know what? That's kind of a feature. We'll just leave that in.
Well, that's like Stardew Valley. Someone discovered a glitch where if you named your character after a element on the certain elements on the periodic table, anytime the word was spoken, it would generate like that item in your inventory. And the developer, I can't think of his name, he actually commented, he goes, "That is the coolest thing ever. I am not fixing this."
It's just like
it's not PvP. If it's a PvP thing, that's different. If people have an advantage, but like Borderlands has, sure, there's dueling, but it doesn't really do anything. And they have co-op, but it's still PvE.
Yeah.
Like you're not like, it's not like if you were in World of Warcraft, you found an exploit that made you invincible, and you just climb like the arena and like win all the seasons. Like that's different.
Because
you can roll a mage and you pretty much are invincible.
I mean, I think there's some element of all of us that likes to see something just busted to a degree that it's just unfathomable. Like getting back to Demon Souls, when Ahmed and I were going through that, like he's like, "Hey, watch this," and I don't remember the name of the boss, but it's basically this giant mountain of corpses that is essentially mobile and trying to kill you because From Software. And he's like, "Watch this, cast a fire spell, and this thing goes from full health to no health, span of 10 seconds." And I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, just because just this guy walks in with all this gravitas and Ahmed just smacks him down like he was nothing. And like I like seeing stuff like that. And I mean, you know what, Randy Pitchford, like, don't fix this one.
And sometimes it's, I mean,
I agree.
If you've ever done them, some of them are fun, like to pull off. Like Moose remembers in Borderlands 2, you can one-shot the raid boss with 0. Like there was a way to do it. It wasn't even complicated, no glitching. Like it was just the way certain gear worked together. I mean, they eventually patched it, but it was like fun to see. Like this, I was on like OP8, and like you just run in and boom, one hit. Like all of a sudden, loot explosion. You're like, that was cool.
Yeah, it's just let people feel ridiculous at some point.
That's like the crit build for Flak, where you just have the sniper rifle that has the 3 barrels and fires like super fast, and then you also stack your crit on top of it, and you just melt bosses. Like basically destroy them. I mean, they've nerfed it, but then they swung the pendulum too far the other way and took away too much of his damage. Now they brought it back a little bit. I know they've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah,
I mean, their explanation for some of the nerfs, which makes sense, they don't want people to feel they have to play a certain build. Like, they
Right.
don't want everyone, you have to play the crit build with flak. Like, they want people to not have to struggle on the raid boss. Play the way you want. Which
Right.
makes sense then.
Right.
So,
All right. Well, I'm kind of in a holding pattern at this point in the gaming year because Annapurna, as we said last week, the next day they announced the release date for Kentucky Route Zero. It's a game I've at this point waited 7 years to play because I said I was going to play it as soon as all the episodes were out. I learned a couple of years ago that the possibility of it coming to consoles was a thing, and day and date it'll be out on PS4, Switch, I think Xbox, and PC. Interestingly enough, they announced the final release date exactly 7 years from the release of the first episode, and I thought that was cool. I'm really excited for it. So I've just really been playing more Binding of Isaac. And I have gotten half of the trophies in that game, or in the base game. I've gotten like one in Afterbirth, and I haven't even looked at what I've gotten in Afterbirth Plus. But, or no, I'm sorry, Rebirth, and then I forget what the expansions are called. But yeah, it's pretty weird that my two most anticipated games of 2020 at this point are Kentucky Route Zero and the final expansion of Binding of Isaac. But did something cool. I finally beat Satan with Isaac. And that is something I had not, I couldn't even do that on Switch. But I did it on PS4, and the exact run after I decided to play is Blue Baby. And what you get for beating Satan with Isaac is you unlock a weapon called Mom's Knife. Let me tell you how busted this weapon is. Now, for those who don't know about Binding of Isaac, Moose has a bloodborne problem. I think Binding of Isaac is my problem now. You play as Isaac, or whichever character you choose, and you fire tears. Well, Mom's Knife replaces that tear with a knife. So you have this knife just sort of hovering around you. Well, it doesn't really hover around you. You're just sort of pointing it at whatever direction you're facing. You charge it up, and then the longer you charge it, the further it will go. And it flies through obstacles, and as long as it is touching something, it is doing damage to it. So I get Mom's Knife in the Devil Deal in the second floor. The very next floor, I get to the treasure room, and I get what's called Quad Shot. So now I have 4 of these knives flying off of me. And I think I got through the next floor without taking red heart damage, so I was able to get another Devil Deal. And with that, I got a power-up called Lord of the Pit. And Lord of the Pit gives you flying. And that means basically you flying is one of the most OP things in Binding of Isaac, because now nothing is in your way. So I have 4 knives flying off of me that do a ridiculous amount of damage. And I basically trucked through that entire game with Blue Baby, melting everything that was in my path. It's basically like the buff that Jason was talking about. Just like, I love getting to the point where I feel ridiculously overpowered in that game. The sad part is mistakes happen. And
Paused by Matt. Not in the game.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. My biggest problem in any game, I don't care if it's a roguelike, I don't care if it's a puzzle game. If you tell me that I am stronger than everything in front of me, I will find a way to kill myself. And I get
half the time when we play Dark Souls 3, don't follow it off the cliff. Matt, don't follow the enemy off the cliff, because we'd be hitting on the cliff side, hitting enemies.
This is Helldivers all over again,
and
man.
he would just I'm like, no, like, don't lock on and go with it. Don't go with it. And sometimes he would, and sometimes he wouldn't. But more
So
times,
listeners, understand. Sometimes I don't.
sometimes he doesn't, but a lot of the times he does.
But
You drove me off a cliff in your motorcycle, man.
yes, that's still one of my favorite things ever. Who wants to ride the motorcycle with me, Phillips? I'll ride a motorcycle.
I feel, Captain Canada, that was your own damn fault for getting in a motorcycle being operated by
But
Kiel.
you have to understand that I didn't know him all that well at this time. So
Right.
I viewed him
Okay, that's
as
true.
this Obi-Wan Kenobi who had already put in 100 hours in this game.
The best
But I
part
didn't-
is, like, within I think an hour or two, Justin Doss joined our party, and I'm like, I'm bringing the motorcycle. Justin, you want to ride with me? Okay. And then Phillips is like, don't ride with him. Justin gets on. Guess what happens?
And I don't even think you meant to kill us. You just saw something shiny. You flew off a cliff, and that was just it. But
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's just like it's just if like I know I'm doing something in Hitman, I don't really care who sees me. I'm going loud. I'm just
yeah,
I feel like I'm
come and
losing
get
my
me,
grasp.
Walt.
you can
I'm
throw
losing my grasp
someone with
on
the
worst
fish.
driver of the show. I feel I need to ramp up my ability to drive and scare people.
Well, but see, the thing is, Marshall, as someone who's been in a Borderlands car with you,
I don't.
I don't think you're a bad driver. I think you are purposefully reckless, and that's okay because it's like let's talk about Marshall in Borderlands for a second. He will take any vehicle, and all of a sudden he's the goddamn Dukes of Hazzard. He will do a 180 spin and park it just so his door is right by the door he needs to go through and no one else can get there. And I feel like that's not reckless. That is precision.
Okay.
So back to Binding of Isaac and Matt's propensity for self-harm. So I'm going through, I get through Mom's Heart, sweep them out of my way like they were nothing. I get to Isaac, and all of a sudden it's like I forgot how to play the game, and I had 2 full rows of blue hearts. And I mean, luckily, like it wasn't a situation where it's basically it turned out to be who had more health at this point, Isaac or me. Luckily, with the couple of shots I was able to get in with the mom's knife, I died with 3 hearts left. So what does that mean? I believe there are 6 hearts in each row. I died with 3 left. So I lost 9 hearts of damage. I got hit 18 times by the same boss because I was just careless. Then I get to the chest. Now, the chest and the dark room are the opposite. They're the opposite ends. Like if you go through the cathedral, you go to the chest. If you go through Sheol, which is basically hell, you go to the dark room. But all of these are just rooms filled with bosses. And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I got 3 hearts to get through this entire like massive floor to fight Blue Baby myself, because video games. And I have to get through bosses of whatever type. It's all random, roguelikes. And this was the single scariest thing. This was the scariest like prospect that I can remember in Binding of Isaac. I'm just like, man, I'm doing so well. I have all this good equipment. I have a masterfully set up run, and I basically fucked myself by being careless. I need to learn to do better. So I get through 1 room, through 2 rooms. I get through a ton of rooms without taking a hit. And then I took my first hit in the room right before the boss. I'm like, okay, 2 hearts to fight Blue Baby. And one thing I forgot to do before going in was usually like if I'm playing as a Zazel or if I have any sort of charge attack, I try and charge it up before I exit the room I'm in so I can just use it in the next room. And I forgot to do that. I walk in, I'm standing right in front of Blue Baby before he starts doing his attacks. And I realize I forget to charge my attack, but I let go right away. And with Mom's knife, if you don't charge it all the way, it just won't go all the way to the edge room. It'll just go right in front of you. All 4 knives hit Blue Baby like at the right amount of time for the right length of time, evaporated. I won the run. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, that just happened. Trophy pops for beating Isaac with Blue Baby and beating the chest for the first time. I got a new item. I was like, whoa. I think I was sweating so profusely that I had to change my shirt. And so yeah, that happened. And that's one of the reasons, another one of the many reasons why I love just roguelikes in general, because you can get overpowered, you can be faced with your own mortality, and you can find every way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory until you get in your way again and actually win. So yeah.
This reminds me of your Spelunky obsession.
Yeah.
Same
I think
kind of-
this might be a little different because like lately with the talk of building a PC and starting to order parts and whatnot, I have thought about once I actually get it and start streaming, I might actually stream a completely new save and just go through doing everything.
For Binding of Isaac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long, terrible undertaking, and it's my kind of bullshit.
Oh yes, it's got you written all over it.
Right. So some bullshit happened this week. Want to talk about it? Apparently people are angry that Sony's new logo is exactly as it was going to be.
They're angry about. That's one of the things they're angry about.
Yeah.
Putting the 5 in it.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it was called PS5, so why, or PlayStation 5, why would the logo be anything but a P, an S, and a 5?
I mean, while people were getting angry about the logo, I was happy that they confirmed some things for the console about a second later.
Yeah.
Real-time ray tracing, hardware-enabled real-time
solid state hard drive.
The SSD, yeah, like they had talked about that, but like the hardware ray tracing was a big one for me. They're not using a software solution for it, so I was happy about that. I still think that console is going to be awesome, but people were very upset about that logo. I in fairness, Sony did say before, like, see the future of PlayStation at CES. Now, did they lie? No. But no, they didn't. But I think most people probably had an expectation of a little bit more. But I mean, it was fine. If you're gonna make a tweet about it and you announce it, I certainly expected more than a logo, but I wasn't expecting the car. That's for sure.
Was anybody?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a price point.
I think that a lot it's so easy to react, and it's so easy to avoid context. I don't know how long it's been since CES was a real deal thing in the video game space. I'm not saying that like them talking about PS5 isn't appropriate for CES because it's tech. That's what CES is. But like seeing the tweets, like see the future of PlayStation, I'm like, oh, they're probably going to reveal a logo. Like that's all I thought at the time, because it's not like they're going to bring out, Naughty Dog and Cory Barlog and say, here's the things that are going to be launched on PS5.
Well, he was there though.
Yeah, but
Because that was his own first and only CES. So a lot of
Yeah.
people were thinking, well, why the hell would he be there? Myself included, because it's
Right.
not typically a video game software show.
Right.
So I thought maybe he would be out there, but yeah.
I mean,
It's not worth getting mad
I
about.
found myself more interested in the Alienware thing because
The Alienware concept is pretty cool.
yeah, I
like
don't think
10
it'll come
inch.
out anytime soon. Just
I
thinking
don't think it's
about
coming out at all.
yeah, I mean it'll be too expensive. Like
I think it's a 10-inch screen. But the people who played it said it was pretty cool. I mean, I love that stuff, but I love tech. So,
yeah,
I really liked AMD's conference.
yeah. You were going crazy over that.
Well, it's just I love tech. So AMD's done a lot of really good advancements in their specifically in their CPUs. But they announced a lot of really cool CPUs. And what they've done is basically uh, steal Intel's lunch and deliver a lot of really quality products at a very consumer-friendly price point. Because Intel was kind of in a holding pattern for a number of years. They had mainstream CPUs coming out with 4 cores, and AMD has finally been able to put out like mid-range CPUs with 6 cores. That's what I've got in mind, at a very consumer-friendly price point, and they're making Intel try again, basically. And Sony and Microsoft do the same to each other. Like when one's doing really well, the other one comes back stronger, right? So
Right.
this is what you want. Like if you're a fan of one of those industries, you want one of them to start kicking the other one's ass. It's better for you, the consumer, because that other company is going to try and get your money back,
Mhm.
and they're going to come back strong. So Intel's going to come back strong next.
Yep.
But AMD is doing a really good job right now. They're powering both the next consoles again. Their new GPU technology is supposed to be really good. I mean, there's a mystery AMD GPU that's appeared on a couple of benchmark sites that is apparently trashing a 2080 Ti, which is the strongest consumer level GPU on the market. So that's exciting because they haven't been able to compete with NVIDIA at the high end for a long time. So that's exciting. And that's the tech that's going in PS5 and Xbox Series X. A variant of it.
Sure.
But it's exciting for us to see because, I mean, it just benefits us, all of us in the long run. So yeah, I liked CS. I thought it was cool. There was some cool concept stuff shown, some nice monitors. There's some keyboard stuff I liked, but I like CS. Like I like the gadgets and shit.
Sure. Now,
But I had fun.
and then news came out that Microsoft, their Xbox Series X, won't have any exclusives for a year. Which I think that's good business, to be honest with you.
It's good business. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw a couple different possibilities. Like maybe they realize they're not going to sell enough consoles at launch in order to properly support those titles. Makes total sense. I thought maybe it meant that they knew the console was going to be kind of expensive and maybe just wouldn't be able to sell enough units because of that. But I mean, I think it's worth talking about. I don't think it's worth getting mad about.
Sure.
At the end of the day, all it means is that for at least a year, you're probably not going to see that kind of generational leap in their games that you would expect from a brand new console, like the jump from Killzone 2 or whatever it was to Killzone Shadowfall.
Right.
Doesn't mean the games are going to be bad. Like, but the only scaling you're probably going to see is in the visual side. Like, you're not going to see the advancements they can do with that increased CPU power for all the stuff you don't see, like destructible environments, dynamic worlds. Like when you blow up a wall, how long do the pieces stay on the ground, or do they just disappear immediately? Like increased AI, like fully the depth of that simulation that you're playing. Like these are the things that, like the increase in CPU power is really going to allow these games to do. So it doesn't mean the games are going to be bad. And I think a lot of people jumped on both sides of the spectrum, the extremes of both sides of the spectrum right away about that. But
yeah, I mean, they touted the whole play anywhere. And how do you have play anywhere when you exclude a system? And
Yeah.
At that, like, say you have a PC and an Xbox. Obviously, you could play Xbox games on PC, but like, if you can't then play the game on Xbox One, all right, fine. I'm just gonna play on the PC. I'm not gonna even worry about an Xbox Series X. But making the game available on your Xbox One and the Series X, like, and I think it also got blown out of proportion because, oh, no exclusives. That's not. There's nothing just for a Series X. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Right.
be Series X and Xbox One X. Like
They'll
people heard it
it's
like
Space Xbox One too.
right. Yeah, I include but like I think people were just like they heard no exclusive, thinking they're not gonna release any games, which is stupid because you have to.
I don't think. I mean, you have to be pretty special kind of person to think. I mean,
but that's
they
why
are
the
going to cut
console
out
wars
base
go
Xbox
on.
One. I mean, like, base Xbox One and Xbox One X are getting cut out within a year to 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're saying. They're not going to have next gen exclusive titles for a year to 2 years, but only from their first party. Like, there's already third party next gen exclusives being announced, like that new Lord of the Rings one, the Gollum one. That's next gen only. What was it? Godfall.
Godfall, I think is what it's
that's a
called.
PS5.
That's
PC
a platinum
exclusive.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Babylon Fall.
Yeah, that's what it is. Babylon's Fall.
though, is that the one that they showed at? What's the one they showed at the Game Awards?
Babylon
Babylon's
Fall,
Fall.
Square,
Okay,
and
yeah,
Platinum.
yeah. So I mean, there are next gen exclusive games. So I get it. It sucks if you just bought a PS4 or Xbox One, but you have to expect that your system's going to get cut off when it's been out for 7 years at this point, right? So it's the games are kind of getting held back by the CPUs in these systems. So I mean, the faster
Also, we
they
don't
advance,
know I mean, you probably look it up. Maybe we don't know the trends in. Sure, PS4 sold 100 million
6
plus,
million.
106.
106. But like, what did they sell that very first month to, like someone who plays a couple hours? Like, maybe they have numbers showing login. Like,
How many units did Knack sell? Let's be real. Let's talk about it.
Like, are you talking about how many units do the exclusives sell, Jason?
Yeah. In relation to like maybe they saw the trends in that if they held a Series X exclusive for a year, it wouldn't hurt them. Knowing that they could sell the game, say it's Halo and it's for both systems, they know they could sell more for One X, X, and Series X than if they just made it for Series X.
Oh, well, for sure. I mean, like, they already have that install base there, right? I mean, that's part of what putting their games on PC was about, is just expanding that
right.
They're trying to maximize their revenue from that title, and it makes 1,000% sense.
Yeah, and I'm saying the
business
pattern, like, month 1 they sold 10 million units, but month 2 they sold 20 million units on top of that 10. So maybe they saw that it does increase over time, and obviously those numbers are fake because we know they didn't sell.
Right. But
I think it's, as usual, like the PS5 logo, it's blown out of proportion. I mean,
Yeah,
I did hear people say, well, that settles it. I'm not getting a Series X on launch day, which, I mean, that's your decision. I mean, obviously it makes it easier when they're like, okay.
yeah.
the games are still going to look great on it. I mean,
Exactly.
you're going to have the same kind of thing like where you get with the Xbox One X right now, where like you can get the game on Xbox One. If you get it on the Xbox One X, it's going to look a bit better. Some of them have higher frame rates. They can still do that kind of stuff with those games because the games will still be able to scale. They're just going to be, the engines will be limited because they have to support Xbox One, but it's not saying that the games are going to be bad. It's like saying the games that we're playing today are bad. No, they're not. Like they're great games. It's just it's going to take a little bit to see like a huge generational kind of leap only from Microsoft's first party. That's all.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
like
and
second
then
party will do or third party
Right.
will do stuff. I mean,
Think about playing PS3 to PS4. If you played the 3 up till 4's launch date, it's not like when the PS4 launched that next day you were like blown away that the difference was like, this is like light years. Like, this is amazing. Like that's ridiculous if you think that's what the jump's gonna be.
well, I mean, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, when did this generation start to really make its stamp? Like, and it wasn't
God of War.
Yeah, like it took them what,
Spider-Man.
4 years?
You know, I mean,
In terms of what,
Bloodborne
like-
looked great, but
Yeah, I mean, like
2 years
Bloodborne, you
after,
could make
2 years
the
after.
argument it was the first one. Witcher 3 maybe as well.
I'd
'cause
argue
they
that Killzone Shadowfall, which was a launch title, was a huge technical leap over the previous gen. It's a gorgeous game. I don't
Sure.
like that game, but it's
Right.
Yeah, no, it does look good. I agree.
Yeah,
with you. It
and,
does look
and,
good.
and I don't really have an argument for you there, but also like there was like the 360 PS3 generation had like BioShock. Like that was like when, you know, that generation quote unquote arrived. And like we didn't get that. Like I think these consoles launched in what, 2013?
yeah, like
2015 was Bloodborne and The Witcher 3.
no,
And,
definitely.
and
I
then
mean,
I don't 20 what was 2016?
Doom.
Doom. And then I mean 2017 you had your Spider-Man.
2014 was Inquisition, I think. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're the only one that would beat that drum here.
Was that, sorry?
I think you're the only one that would beat that drum here.
No, I'm thinking about like prominent
Sure.
titles from those years, right?
I mean, people are gonna buy the Series X. They
Oh,
want
yeah.
to. I mean,
As
it's
they
not
should.
like, sure, it won't, like I just said, it won't look from the day before till the day after it's launched, like light years ahead looking, but like there could be other things it does. It probably loads faster, more storage built in. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there just might be like, hell, if the PS5 has like 4 USB ports, I have a base PS4. I only have 2 USB ports. I can't have VR, Sony, the Golds, the Guitar Hero, like all that stuff. I can't have them all plugged in at the same time.
Let alone all those saves you have backed up on USB for trophy purposes.
Exactly.
Had to. Had to.
But as always, us gamers blow everything out of proportion.
Sure.
Well, that is the internet.
Yep. I mean,
I'd be disappointed if I don't get a PS5 day one. I can't play Godfall. I mean, if it runs better, if it's not going to really run, I mean, whatever. It always have. I mean, it's not like it's the first. I mean, what generation of systems are we at? It's not
I've
like
lost track. 8, I think.
8.
Yeah.
It's not like
I
this
think the new ones are 8.
well, if you're talking, it depends. What are we talking about? From when generations actually started, or from the Nintendo?
I've lost track of them.
in general, like, oh, there's a new system out. Like, why can't I play Nintendo 64 games on my Super Nintendo? Like, what the hell? This is crap, Nintendo.
Yeah.
You just lost the customer. Like, it's.
But now you got it back because my kid won't stop talking about Super Mario World. Yeah, it's a weird time, and like, I mean, let's show of hands based on what we know now. Any next gen console, doesn't matter, red, green, blue, purple. Anybody day one yet?
If I have the funds available, I'll be PS5 day one.
Well, based on what we know now, because right now I'm
I
not.
just said yes.
Yeah, I would buy PS5 day
I
one.
wanted to make sure he understood.
No,
Right now,
I mean, because right now, Godfall, I don't know what that game is.
no, I don't even
Matt's
need
an
to.
intelligent man.
No, I
I'm
can.
not saying he's not.
I can look at the history of PS3. PS3 had a slow burn to get started. Like it was like not very much up to MGS4, and then after that, it was just like it seemed like every month there was something, even if it was just something small like calling all cars, which I thought was a cool game.
Which
but
it was.
I know based on history, the precedent they've set, that they're going to have titles I like. And so I don't really need to see all that much from it. I know that I don't know. I expect that I will enjoy that product enough that I could comfortably purchase it day one.
Okay.
Well, here's the other thing too: the backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Yep.
mean,
we know we're getting backwards compatibility, but I'm with to go on that. There's rumors it might go all the way back and play
Mhm.
like if it could play PS1 disc. I still have Final Fantasy Anthology and Origins and 8 and 9 on and Chrono Cross. Like that makes it day one for me. If it was now, but we don't know. Like, sure, the backwards compatibility helps more for me now than it did last. Like, I don't care so much about playing a PS3 game now, but like with my backlog, like I want to be able to play some of the PS4 games. I might be in the middle of games. Like, it'd be cool to be able to download it, upload my save to Plus, and then continue playing it on the PS5.
Well, we talked about that, Jason, and I think you and I are both in the same camp where it's like we have the backlog, we want to play those games, and right now we're both kind of on the fence. We want to get it, but like me, I might just do what I did with the PS4 and wait a year. And then when they put that holiday bundle out and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a free game with it. You know what I mean? It might be the same price because like usually it trails down. Like the first holiday season, you get a game with it. The second holiday season, they take $100 or $50 off. The next one, $100. Like they discount it as the holiday seasons, the time wears on so that they can sell more copies. But like if there's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be amazing launch titles. And obviously, y'all know if they said Bloodborne 2, I will freaking sell a kidney if I have to pay for it. But anyways,
I mean, yeah, if they said Bloodborne 2, if Blue Point announced a remaster of Demon Souls, like,
right.
Yeah.
Heck, even if Blue Point was doing a remaster of Soul Reaver, like it's been rumored, I'd be on top of that too. I mean, I'd be like, hell yeah, dude! I bought that game when it launched, and I was like, this game is amazing, and I loved it. So, it right now, as of right now, no, it's a wait and see. Yeah. But I feel like as soon as they announce, like they show the console, they show some trailers. I mean, the game they showed during the Game Awards was kind of cool. I'm like, whatever. My main thing is though, like we talk about like games, but here's the other thing.
Talk about games.
I stream on PS4. I'd love to see some better functionality for Twitch interacting with your chat being more in line with actual web browsing, and streaming from PC. And like sometimes you can't see the emotes because it's on PS4. There's not a lot of functionality with it. You just go live and like that's it. Mm-hmm. Like there's no like be right back screens. There's no like kind of like overlays or whatnot. So it'd be cool to see some updates. Now, if they came out and they said, here's some titles you might like, and I'm like, all right. And then come out, in the same presentation, or like Twitch is going to be like better. It's going to do this for you, do that, and all this. I'd be like, sign me up. That would sell me on it, So I think it also, you got to take into consideration like what else is the system going to do besides just obviously play games, which is the main focus for all of us. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, if I can not buy 1,000 games to add to my backlog, it's most likely I'd get this launch. Like, I doubt the launch lineup. I'd be like, like if it was Bloodborne 2, that's not for me. That's not a day one, but it depends on the other games. I mean, the backwards compatibility is cool, but I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm fine with my PS4. I mean, it's most likely a day one, but I want some more info.
What if they come out and talk about like, it's kind of going to be like the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, where a game releases and then it might come out like Cyberpunk 2077, and then all of a sudden there's a PS5 patch. So you're like, okay, well, why should I buy the game on PS4? I'll just wait to play it on PS5. You know what I mean? So you got
But
that.
then you won't be part of the conversation.
I'm all right with not being part of the conversation for that game. I'm coming around on The Witcher.
Yeah.
And, to its credit, I'm coming around on it. The control patch that they put in, I was having a good time with it. I just need to get back to it.
Yeah.
This damn Fight Club, man. But anyways,
I mean, if it's gonna be seamless, like if tomorrow was launch day, I can get it and buy. I'm not unrealistic. I don't expect instant, but like if by Wednesday or Thursday I'm back playing Days Gone, because that's what I'm playing, or finishing Jedi Fallen Order, I'm probably okay. I'm in. Like that's because I'm not gonna not play the games. I have so many. Like no, I'm done. I'm only playing PS5 games from now on.
Yep.
Peace.
Yeah, I kind of echo everything you guys just said, and barring certain titles, I'm actually more interested in finally getting a PC this year. I'm more interested. I mean, I say that now. Do we know of an early year event? Like, are they doing a PSX for this?
There's a rumor that they're doing something next month.
Okay.
Like a reveal.
But nothing's.
Nothing's official. It was supposed to be that they're doing some like month-long kind of event, and at the end they're going to do a PS5 full reveal. I don't know. Nothing's like official, but that's the current rumor. That's where like the backwards compatibility rumor is coming from. So it's supposed to play 1, 2, 3, 4, and PSP. But that's
Oh shit, that's good.
what was shown today.
dude, if PSP's involved, that's awesome.
That is good.
But I mean that obviously, and then the announcement they're not at E3 again.
Yeah, I mean,
Sony is a company. They're in so much trouble right now. Best-selling console, second best-selling console of all time. Yeah, I mean, they can't afford it. It's totally fine.
It's a new system. It makes sense to dictate the when and the where.
Oh, definitely.
Of your and also, not to mention, like people do forget, the ESA is a pretty shitty organization when it comes to leaks.
Yeah, I mean,
my
sarcasm aside, fuck. Guess what? Nobody here's going to E3, not because we weren't invited, don't have the money, or aren't involved in press, but they're shitty. Like, no disrespect to any of our listeners, don't want you to know my address. I'm setting a boundary.
I have to say, with the state of plays, while none like blew me out of the water just because of the content, but it just wasn't for me. There were very few leaks. I feel E3 is just a ship going down, throwing every title out. Like here's an announcement coming in the next 5 minutes. Here's one for 10 minutes. Like there's no more surprises. So why not let PlayStation dictate their own? And like the last surprise that I honestly was surprised by was the God of War reveal. I think that was one of the coolest ones.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look up reaction videos, it's like so cool watching people like they're completely stunned when he like steps out and is like, boy. I mean, let them dictate it themselves.
Boy.
It makes sense. And they're not waiting till June
right
to reveal more.
Well, I think in 2013 it was like March. It might have been February. It was either February or March when they did like a PSX or a PlayStation event, and they brought out the controller. Mark Cerny came out, talked about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Microsoft will show off a few new games for the Series X and some more release, but like we're gonna know probably know price points by then.
Yeah.
I mean, at best we see you could pre-order today. But
yeah, I don't know. We've been going for a long time.
Yes, we have.
About 22 minutes over. But you know what? Conversation happened and we finished it. So what do you say we get out of here, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Later.
Peace.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXODmerch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. This has been an episode of Story Route Zero. Thank you for coming along on this journey. We sincerely hope you enjoyed yourself as much as we enjoyed having you. Once again, you can find everything we do at StoryRoute0.com. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute_0, or you can email us at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. If you'd like to hit us up individually anywhere, you can find Moose at Sven, that's SVHENN, everywhere on social media. That's PSN, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can also find him on Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, and he also has a website called whereisthepausebutton.com. Captain Canada is the only Story Route Zero exclusive. He's the only one you can only find right here on the show. As for me, I'm Infinite_Rewind everywhere I'd like to be. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's PSN, and Twitch. I also have my own website, InfiniteRewind.com, where I do all sorts of weird writing and rambling. Check us out at all the places. And remember, you are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. But for now, it's back to the real world for us. We will see you on the next one.